What did you learn this morning?
Yeah. Okay. Every day I try Vietnamese. I try Vietnamese in the translation group,
Okay.
and yeah, and I'm not. I'm not. I I cannot speak English much in the word tiếng Anh nội tâm á.
Okay.
But yeah, but sometimes I will say Vietnamese. Yeah,
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
yeah. Thì bài học lớn nhất sáng nay của em nhận được đó là response response responsible,
Mm-hmm.
à, về cái trách nhiệm á, cái nghĩa
Mm-hmm.
đó, cái trách nhiệm á thường thì mình hay quên bản thân lắm. Ví dụ mình đã lao vào công việc cho gia đình hay cho tổ chức rồi á, thì mình cứ làm thôi đến nỗi là quên ăn quên ngủ quên tập thể dục
Mm.
vân vân và vân vân. Đó thì nhưng mà thực sự ra nếu mà bài học lớn nhất sáng nay em nhận ra đó có nghĩa là động lực sinh tồn. Thì đã nói đến sinh tồn rồi á thì con người mình á, nếu mà xét đúng á là mình không có sống một mình được. Mình sống lúc nào ít nhất mình phải có cây cỏ xung quanh mình, hoặc ít ra thì cũng là sẽ sống có người xung quanh mình, ít nhất là cha mẹ hoặc anh chị hoặc vợ chồng người thân. Cho nên cái bốn động lực sinh tồn này á là cần phải có, chứ không phải chỉ có trách nhiệm cho trách nhiệm không đâu. Có nghĩa nó không có tồn tại độc lập, mà cái bài học lớn nhất em nhận ra sáng nay là mình phải có trên bốn động lực sinh tồn đó, là cùng phải có luôn.
Mm.
Mặc dù đầu tiên á, nếu mình chưa làm được cho tổ chức, cho gia đình, cho xã hội thì cho bản thân mình trước. Mình phải khỏe, mình phải an, mình phải vui, mình phải đầy đủ hết thì cái trách nhiệm đối với lại ba động lực sinh tồn kia rất là đơn giản.
Mm.
Nhưng đồng nghĩa là bốn cái đó mình phải có cùng một lúc luôn.
Right. So you're talking about the
Dạ.
virtue of accountability, and it has to do with accountability and responsibility, not only with yourself, but it is always we are always connected to our family,
Family.
our organization, and society. So we always
Dạ.
think about the four survival motivation. Everything that we do, it has to
Dạ.
benefit not only ourselves but our family, our organization, and our society. And so
Yeah,
yeah.
when we decide to do, we do from ourselves first. But for the thinking, for the vision, we think about the
Society.
society, about the organization, about the family, and us. When we think about the society, organization, and family, include us already.
Yeah.
Include us already. Yeah. That is my lesson this morning. Hello, Ram. Yes.
No, Ron, thank you so
Hello,
much.
everyone.
Yeah.
Would
Good
you,
evening.
yeah, would you care for to share any of your lesson impression, realization, of anything that
I
you've studied today or this week, and before we
I've
jump
been
in?
mostly focusing on exams.
Okay, what have you been?
And yeah,
What impresses you most about your exam? About your study
I'm
on
I'm
exam?
actually surprised I'm not as nervous as I think I feel more confident now.
Okay.
Um, I not as nervous as I thought I would be. Mine is tomorrow, but maybe when the time gets closer, maybe that'll change. But I think I'm more confident in my ability to share, and yeah, I think I will do fine. I know I'll do fine.
Excellent. And your topic is going to be what?
My topic is the human energetic structure.
Ah,
I
Okay.
was
okay.
so hoping for the root cause of life, but it wasn't the right conditions for me. So I get the human energetic structure.
Well, that's a blessing because if you feel that it is some point that you're not fully comprehend, then it is universe way of getting you catch up and caught up so that you will become more comprehensive and you will understand
Well, I
that
feel
which you
that
need to understand the most.
Yeah. With the human energetic structure, I feel that everything, the triangular reality, the root cause of life, everything is tied together. So it's basically all in one with the human energetic structure. And yeah, I been studying that a bit, and yeah, I think I will
There are
do
many
fine.
components to the human energetic structure in terms of knowledge, right? There are many
Yes.
different module. Which one sort of stand out the most to you? You know, if you
Well, I like the center of everything,
okay,
where all the light is, and where we come to our awareness, where we're only hearing and seeing, and we can monitor what we hear and see. And when we know more, we can talk more. And the also the wanting and imagination. All the everything kind of stands out to me. The bubbles of illusion, and
illusion. Okay,
also the four body elements. Um, I'm ready to pretty much share all of them.
four element body. I think it's more
Four
appropriate to
element.
say four element body. Sometimes people say four body element, but when we're talking about the body, that's our body, and our body is made up of four classical elements, so we call it four element body.
Element body.
Yeah,
Oh, for some reason, to me, it sounds backwards when we say the four element body. I don't know,
okay,
but
that's fine.
that's just my thinking. But yeah, but yeah, four element body. But I'm feeling confident. And
Okay,
tonight we at 7:15 we start our exams, and I'll be supporting the people that are taking the exams tonight.
okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be ducking out in maybe about 45 minutes or so.
Yes.
Okay.
7:15 they start. So and Tai
Okay.
Tong is there.
All right. So let's. Well, with only a few of us here now, well, let's just. Well, let me think. Should I give it another few seconds for just 2 more minutes for some other people to see if they can join us. Otherwise, we will jump in today's topic. Today's topic is day 3 of the Inner Being course, the principle of the circle of knowledge. Okay, though all of you have already um, seen it before, but we're gonna try to follow closely with the way it is presented in K36, um, the way that Master Tuan has shared it. Okay, so very happy to see you guys taking the time every week to join the Zoom, working to transform yourself so that you can be uh, an engine of value creation for your family, your organization, and the world. So it is a blessing to me to have you guys in the Zoom. Okay, let's go ahead and just jump in. Gonna My shared screen is here. Gonna start a new share screen. So, with much gratitude, I'm honored to be sharing the day 3 of the Inner Being course as taught by Master Tuan in Vietnamese. I will be translating it into English. Okay, let's see what the Master has to say. So, it is called okay, the principle of the circle of knowledge. This is a very important principle. Okay, very important principle to help us to open our knowledge as a human being. Okay, this is a principle that helps us open our total knowledge as a human being, and to apply it in order to help many people more comprehend the knowledge of human life and experience. Hello, Mr. Dev. Thank you for joining our Zoom today. We're talking about the circle of knowledge. Okay, it's very simple. When it comes to knowledge, okay, when we talk about knowledge, let's see if you agree with this. Would you agree that we know that we know? Does it make sense? In other words, we know things, but we also know that we know. Okay, so we know that we know. We know that which we know all that we know that we know. Does that make sense? As a human being, we know things, and we know that we know. Okay? And we only know what we know. Okay? We only know what we know. Exactly. See, Thúy is imprinting and repeating. Okay, so there are things that we know, and we know that we know, but we only know what we know. At the same time, there are things that we know. Oops. Excuse me. I made a mistake. Let's get a new page of paper. Let's write it again. Make it nice and pretty. Okay? I'm gonna rewrite that from the beginning. It's called a circle. This is a principle of circle of knowledge. Okay, we begin by saying that there are things that we know, and we know that we know. Okay, and we only know what we know. Okay, we only know what we know. At the same time, there are things that we know, but things that we have forgotten. Okay, so there are things that we know but forgot. And you notice that the things that we know but we have forgotten is more than the stuff that we know that we know. Right? And then there are things that we don't know. Okay? There are things that we don't know. But we know that we don't know. Okay, so we know that we don't know. And so that circle of know that we don't know, it's much bigger than what we know that we know and that we know that we forgot. For example, does anybody here know that we don't know how to fly an airplane? Right? We don't know how to fly an airplane. But we know that we don't know how to fly an airplane. Okay? So you can imagine that there are things that we don't know, but we know that we don't know, and that's a lot. That's even bigger than what we know but forgotten and what we know what we know. And then, of course, there are things that we don't know, and we don't even know that we don't know. Okay. So there are things that we don't know that we don't know. And that, everything that we don't know, that we don't know, that we don't know, can you imagine that it is much, much bigger than that which we know and don't know, that we know that we forgot, and that which we know and know. Okay, so everything that we don't know, it's very vast. So what do you call something that you don't know that you don't know? Can we name something that we don't know that we don't know? Can somebody try tell me something that you don't know that you don't know? We don't know, but we don't even know that we don't know. Then so it is impossible to name it. Okay, so this circle of knowledge. Okay, of course, that which we don't know that we don't know should be infinite, but uh, to simplify it so we can talk about it, we're just going to put a circle around it and basically say that it's bigger than the other circle. But you agree that it is so vast that we will think that we don't know that we don't know. It is so vast. Okay. So once again, there are things that we know and we know that we know. There are things that we know but forgotten, which is more than what we know. There are things that we know that we don't know. And then there are the things that we don't know that we don't know. So here's a question. Compare to the totality of the knowledge that all of human can possess, then what we know, is it a lot or is it very little compared to the totality of all there is to know? Right? Compared to all the knowledge and all that there is to know, then what we know is very little compared to all that there is to know. And here's another thing. I only know what I know. And you only know what you know. Right? I only know what I know, and you only know what I know. If we compare what we know compared to a little child, for example, there are things that we know, and then there are things that the little child know. There are things that we know, but we've forgotten. But there are things that the little child know, but he forgot. There are things that the little child know that he doesn't know. At the same time, that there are things that I know that I don't know. Okay? And so, is it possible that there is something that a child know that may fall into that which we know that we don't know? It's possible, right? There are things that maybe a child will know that we don't know. And so when it comes to knowledge, then as a human being, we generally have the same amount of knowledge. And that is, we only know what we know. When we have this awareness and perception, then number one, it helps us to feel that if we don't know as much as the more knowledgeable people, then we don't feel so inferior to them. But at the same time, even if we know a lot, we cannot say that we cannot feel too superior to other people either, because we only know what we know. Okay, let me repeat that. Having this circle of knowledge, I only know what I know, and other people only know what they know. It helps us, number one, not feel inferior for our lack of knowledge. But at the same time, even if we have a lot of knowledge, there are still things that other people know that we don't know. And so we don't need to feel superior either. So neither inferior nor superior when it comes to knowing. That's one of the key point and advantage of the circle of knowledge. We only know what we know. You can go ahead and write that down on your note. We only know what we know. Okay? We only know what we know. And other people, they only know what they know. We only know what we know, and other people only know what they know. And so, if we only know what we know, okay, then when we speak with another person, then according to you, do you think that we can use what we don't know that we don't know to speak to other people? To speak to other people? No. Or can we use what we know that we don't know to speak to other people? No. Can we use what we've already forgot and know that we forgot in order to speak to them? No either. We can only use what we know that we know in order to speak to another person, right? Which of these circle? It is the I know that I know. We can only use what we know that we know in order to speak to another person. And because we can only use what we know that we know to speak with other people, then you say that makes sense, right? We can only use what we know when we speak to other people. But here's the problem. If, let's say this is us down here, okay? Because we can only use what we know that we know when we speak to other people. When we use what we know that we know and we talk to other people, do you think there's a possibility that it will touch upon what other people know that they know? Right? If we use what we know that we know and we speak to another person, it will touch upon their circle that what they know that they know. Then when we say something that we use from what we know that we know and we share with another person and it touch upon their circle that they know, then they say, well, thank you, but I already know it. They already know it. Then they will get bored. They don't need to hear it anymore. Right? Have you seen that? Yeah. But if we use what we know that we know and we talk to another person and it touches upon the circle of their forgot. They know, but they forgot. They know, but they've forgotten it. You say something, we say something from what we know that we know. And it touch upon the circle that they know, but they forgot. But here's the question. Why did they forget it in the first place? Why did they forget it? They know it, but they've forgotten it. Think about it. What are the things that we have forgotten? Are they not the things that we don't use? The stuff that we've forgotten is the stuff that we don't use or the stuff that we don't think it is important. And because it is not important, we don't remind ourselves, we don't use it on daily, so we forget about it. It is not important. Okay? And if there are things that we know, and we talk to other people, and it touch upon the circle of that they don't know, but they know that they don't know. Okay, they don't know something, okay, good. But they know that they don't know it. And so the same thing you can ask, why do they not know it? Why do they not know it? Because it is not yet important to them. It is not necessary yet. For example, if we tell another person about how to fly an airplane, they know that they don't know how to fly an airplane. But why don't they know how to fly an airplane? Because it is not important. They don't want to know it yet. Because if they had wanted to know how to fly an airplane, they would have come to know it. They would have taken steps to take the classes and know how to fly an airplane. And so when we talk to another person from our knowing that we know, and it touch upon the circle whereby they know that they don't know it, it is also not important because they don't feel that it is necessary to come to know it yet. In the recording, our master said that he doesn't know how to drive a four-wheel car. He doesn't know how to drive a four-wheel car. You can say that he's not a modern man. Because a modern person is someone who has to know how to speak English, have to know how to drive a four-wheel car, know how to use computer, for instance. But for one reason or another, our master, when recording this, feels that it is not important to get to know how to drive a four-wheel car. So when we speak to another person from our knowing that we know, they cannot gain anything. There is no value in what we share to another person when it touch upon what they know that they don't know, or what they know that they've forgotten, or what they know and don't know, then we have contributed no knowledge value to another person. Okay, so let me say that again. If we use what we know that we know, and we speak to another person, and it touch upon the circle where they know that they don't know it, or they know that they've forgotten it, or if they know that they already know it, then we have contributed no new knowledge value to another person. And what happened if we use what we know from we know that we know, and we talk to another person? Okay, we share that knowledge, and it touch upon this circle where they don't know that they don't know. They don't know about it, and they don't know that they don't even know it. What do you think happened? Usually what happened is they will experience a sort of mental paralysis. They become mentally paralyzed. They're like it's like you're speaking a completely strange language that they have no conception of what it is. Has that ever experienced to you where somebody talk to you and you feel completely mentally paralyzed? You have no idea what they're talking about. That is what happened when we use what we know that we know, and it touch upon the circle that they don't know that they don't know. Then they may become paralyzed. And so we offer no knowledge value either. So the problem is we can only know what we know. Because we only know what we know, and because we can only speak from what we know to talk to another person, then there are these possibilities. When we use what we know and speak to another person, and it touch upon that which they know that they already know, then it's no value because they already know it. But if we speak from what we know and they touch upon what they know but they forgot, it is not important to them, so that's why they forgot it in the first place. We may share it and they will remind them, oh yeah, okay, thank you for reminding me, but they're gonna forget it again because it is not important. Or if we use what we know and that we know and we share with another person, they touch upon that which they know that they don't know, they'll be like, okay, interesting, thank you for sharing, but because it's not important for them to get to know it in the first place, we do not really contribute any value. They will forget it again. And if we say something and it falls into what they don't know that they don't know, then they become mentally paralyzed. We have contributed no value to them. So what can we do? Okay? If we use what we know to speak to another person, in general, they will not understand. Okay? In summary, if we use what we know in speaking to another person, they will not understand. Okay, this is a saying that took place when our master was about 20 years old. Okay, our master went to see to a Zen master. Okay, so I'm going to translate. I'm going to use the I. This is the master saying. So when I was 20 years old, I went to visit the master of a Zen temple. And as I approached a master in this Zen temple, I noticed that the master was reading a book. And the master showed the book that he was reading. And and the master also say, I'll be honest with you, I may be reading it, but I've forgotten what I've read already. Okay, I read a book, but I honestly don't remember what I read. It just so happened that at that time, I was learning how to read fast. I was learning how to retain information and improve memory. And so I took it upon myself to share with the older master how to read and remember information from the book that he was reading. Okay, so the master obliged me, basically indulged me for a short while, giving me a chance to teach him how to read and how to retain information. But after teaching this, excuse me, after teaching the Zen master how to read and retain information for a short while, the master said, to be perfectly honest with you, it is not so much that I've forgotten what I read, it is more because I have erased my memory after I read. Okay? It is not that I have forgotten, it is because I have erased my memory what I read. And so, as a young man, I was very surprised, taken aback. Excuse me. So, I was surprised. I asked the master, why are you wasting time reading and then forget about it? Why are you reading and then erasing your mind? Right? Is it not the point of reading to remember information and retain information so you can use that information? And so the Zen master say, well, the truth of the matter is, many people come here, many come to the temple asking for advice, asking for guidance and instruction on the scriptures and about philosophy and about life in general. If I use what I know, what I read, if I use what I know and I tell other people, then they won't understand. But because there are different people of different educational level. There may be an elementary level education person. Another person may be a PhD. There may be students of the Buddhist scripture who knows more of the scripture than I do. So if I use what I know to speak to another person, I will not be able to help them understand. And so I have to use what they know in order to help them understand. And so, young man, if you use what you know to speak to another person, you cannot help them understand. You can only use what you know in speaking to others, then you can help them understand. Okay? You want to write that down. If you use your own knowing in speaking to other person, they will not understand. You can only use what the other person know in order to help them understand. And so at 20 years old, I began to have this inquiry. How do I go about using what other people know in order to help them understand? Okay, because if I use what I know to speak to other people, it'll touch upon all of these circles, and I will not contribute any new knowledge to them, and I will not be able to help them understand. I can only help other people understand by using what they know. Okay, and so it has taken many years of inquiry and research, and I have finally come up with the circle of knowledge. The principle of the circle of knowledge in order to help other people better understand. This principle of the circle of knowledge, it will help us expand our own knowledge, and it will help us help other people better understand. And so with your permission, I will show you the ways of how I've been using this circle of knowledge in these past days and the upcoming days in order to help you all expand your knowledge about human life and experience. Okay? This saying is very important in this moment, and it is very important in the entire journey of learning that we are going to use. Okay? I'm going to explain how I use this principle in order to help all of you to expand your knowledge about human life and experience. Firstly, we have to have an awareness about our knowledge. Okay? Our knowledge, the knowing and the knowing is not just about knowing. It is a little bit deeper than that. So let me write that. When it comes to our knowledge as a human being, it takes on different form. It is not just a simple knowing. It could take on a form of belief. Okay, it could take on the form of knowing. Here we are expanding your understanding about the circle of knowledge. Okay, our knowledge can take on the form of our belief, take on the form of our knowing, take on the form of inquiry, and it take on desire. And how I was able to help you understand whether it's for first-time learner or repeat student. Many people, you notice that many people come into this class, some of you included, you come into the class maybe repeated many times, or maybe you listen to a recording many times. Yet, every time you listen, you learn something new. Do you notice that? Some of you here may have listened to the same recording multiple times, yet every time you listen, your knowledge expands. And that is because we use the principle in the following way. In order to help a person expand their knowledge, they base it on a person's belief. It is a person's belief that will help them expand their knowing. Okay? You use a person's belief to help them expand their knowing. If you think about the ancient people, our ancestors, people of the past, especially in the eastern countries, they have a wide, comprehensive knowledge about everything, from philosophy to science, from morality to humanity. Okay, they understand virtue, they understand character, they understand from everything from the weather to how the human beings behave. Do you notice that in the past, the knowledge of our ancestors tend to be very vast. They know everything from morality to medicine, from science to humanity. Okay, it's very broad and very vast. Yet, the amount of books in the ancient past are very limited. And because the amount of books are very limited, the number of teachers are very limited. And so, when a book is become available, then a student would often memorize the whole book. And they have an absolute belief in the teacher. And because they have a belief in the teacher, in their forerunner, then whatever the teacher say, they will remember, they will memorize, and they will take in everything that the teacher say. And whatever book that is written, they will memorize from cover to cover every word. And so when a human being have a basis of belief, it makes it simple for them to expand their knowing. You can write this down. When a person believes, it makes it simpler for them to know. When a person believes, it is simple to expand their knowing. So for today, I have the fortune that you have a certain basic belief about human life and experience. And you trust me, you trust the environment. Then you notice that because of your belief in the environment, of your belief in the knowledge, then it's simple for me to help you come to know. Right? Yeah. But if somebody have a preset doubt and they don't have a belief, then when they come into this environment, then their knowing will be limited. What they come to know will be limited by their doubt. So you notice that when a person, when you are listening to a person who believe you, they will be, they will get to know very simple. And similarly for us, if we believe somebody, then we will know that what they have to say, very simple. So there is a connection, there is an intimate connection between belief and knowledge. Okay, so when you think about, let's say a child, when a child, grows up in a family, they trust their parent, they believe their parent. Very simple. A parent say this is a cup, say the cup. This is a cup, say the cup. Then the child just believe it and they just know that it is now the cup. Right? You know that the children are very believable. They are very believable. They tend to believe, very trusting. And because they are very trusting and believing, they learn very quickly. Right? We teach our children, say this is 1 and then 2. Repeat, they just 1 and 2. Do you notice that little children, when you say count 1, 2, they just repeat 1 and 2. And so they believe, and because they believe, their ability to learn, their ability to know is very quick. We just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they will learn all the way up to 10. And we teach them A, B, C, D, E, and then they would just repeat A, B, C, D, E, and they would learn the whole alphabet. Or we say this is fire. Fire is hot. Okay, fire is hot. Don't put your hand in it. If they don't believe you, they put their hand and they get burned, and immediately they will believe the parent, and they will listen to their parent, and so their knowledge expands very quickly. So you notice that when we were little, we have an absolute belief in our parents and our loved ones. And because we believe our parents and our people close to us, then we come to know very quickly. And we go to school. We go to school, we believe in the words of our teacher. Our teacher said this is a multiplication table. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. And so we believe that the multiplication table is so and so, and so we learn the multiplication table very quickly. And we believe in the books that the school give to us, and so we learn it very quickly. Okay, so you see the connection between belief and knowing. To believe and to know. So many people come into this environment. They may only take 1 or 2 classes, and so their knowledge expands very quickly. Knowledge about humanity may expand very quickly. And it depends on how much they believe in the knowledge that will allow them to expand their knowledge about that field. Okay, so you can grasp it. Once you get this key, it's very. This is a key to helping another person know. Okay, and so my own knowledge comes from a degree of belief. I am very selective when it comes to teacher. Any teacher that has a clear comprehension of a topic, will be able to be my teacher. I don't just learn from everybody. This is the master saying, anybody has the potential to become my teacher, but not everybody can become my teacher. Okay? Through the lesson, anybody can give me a lesson. Anybody can give me a lesson and they can be my teacher. But a true teacher, not everybody can become a true teacher. However, everybody has the potential to become my teacher. Do you get it? Everybody has the potential to become my teacher. As long as they have a lesson, that they can become my teacher. However, not everybody can truly be a teacher. Why? Because it has to do with my belief in that person. If I believe them, then I will learn from them. They will be my true teacher. Okay? So once we have a belief, then it is simple to expand our knowing. That is the first we would like to share with you. And so, when somebody have introduced you to this environment and this lesson, maybe some value connector, a loved one who may have some reputation that you really trust, that anything that they have said, then you trust and you believe. And so your experience of life with that person, there is a strong belief, there is a strong trust. And they say, come into this environment, come into this course, it will be good for you. When we first come in, we may not understand anything. we may mentally paralyzed. But because we believe in the person who recommended this course to us, then we come into the course, come into environment, and over a short amount of time, your awareness and your knowledge about humanity and human life and experience expand tremendously. Okay? Or you come here and we are very grateful. We may have a bunch of Zoom. At the time when this course was recorded, there are 2 or 3 different Zoom. We're talking about 1,000 or 2,000 people listen. Let's say there are 2,000 people listening. Then some people who come into the Zoom, at the beginning they may have some doubt, but then they look and they say, wow, there are thousands and thousands of people are studying. There are people all over the world, dozens of different world people in advanced countries that America, in Europe, people in civilized society. There are PhD, there are professors, there are scientists, and they are studying this material. Then wow, maybe there must be something really interesting. And so it bolsters their belief. And because you believe, you want to know. It expands your ability to know. But if you lack the belief, then it's difficult to know. Okay? If we lack the belief, can you imagine that it is difficult to know? The moment when we doubt, we close our mind. We don't obtain any information. Okay? Without belief, you cannot come to know anything. It is the doubt that will close up your knowing. But here's the thing: once we have the knowing, once we know, okay, once we know, then we will come to understand. Once we know, then you come to understand. Like the first day, you just know that you need to apply the principle of light, for example. All right? When it comes to the worldly view, it is very simple to understand the principle of light. But when it comes to human life and experience, we don't know how to apply it yet. But from the moment that we start to know, then we start to understand. It is the knowing that leads to the understanding. Okay? If we know, we're going to understand. And so, at the beginning, we may not understand anything. When you enter this environment, you may not understand, but it is the knowing that will help us understand. For example, if we know 10, we only understand, let's say we know 10, we only understand 2 or 3. But we get to know 20, then our understanding may increase to 5 or 6. So to know is a simple way to come to understand. Okay? Knowing makes it simple to understand. That's it. Knowing leads to understanding. So if you want anything, if you want to understand anything, just get more knowing, get more knowledge. That's it. If we want to understand anything, we need just to acquire more knowledge, more knowing. Okay, do you guys get that so far? So, when we open our knowing, it makes it simple to understand. Okay? When we expand our knowing, it makes it simple to understand. And the more that you know, the more simple it is to come to understanding. Okay? The more you know, the more you come to understanding. It's very simple. Okay? And so, Understanding is one level of knowledge. But if you really want to really understand something, okay, if we really want to understand something on a deeper level, on a comprehensive level, then we call that comprehension. Comprehend. 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 Yeah. There you go. In order to comprehend something, in other words, to really want to understand something deeply and fully and comprehensively, in order to comprehend something, you have to have an inquiry. You have to have some kind of question. It is based on a person's inquiry. Okay, inquiry are the kind of question that we have that is repeated through many times, through many years even. Then you will get to comprehend. You will come to a realization. Okay, we talked about realization in the previous episode. It is the inquiry that will lead to a realization and then lead to a comprehension. Okay, if a person have an inquiry, a kind of question that is repeated over and over, then you will experience a realization and a comprehension, a deep understanding, a comprehensive understanding, which we call comprehension. Okay, and finally, if we have a desire, then you will experience a transformation. Some people come into this environment and they have a desire to transform their life. They desire to have a more comprehensive understanding about humanity. They want to experience better life, more peace, more happiness, better health. Then they will experience transformation. And so the secret is to use a person's belief to help them know. Use their knowing to help them understand. We want to use a person's inquiry to help them comprehend, and we use a person's desire to help them transform. Okay? So when you come into this class, how we can expand your circle of knowledge is exactly that. Firstly, we need to start from your knowing. We have to begin with your knowing. Okay? We begin with what you know. And then we talked about human life and experience, and so we basically remind you. You may have known it, but you've forgotten. And so, right, it goes to the next circle. It becomes the circle of your know, but you forgot. But once I remind you, it now becomes a part of your knowing. It is now what you know. Do you get that? Your knowledge has just expanded. We begin with what you know, and we say something. Maybe you've forgotten it. It touched upon your circle of knowledge. But when we reminded you, your circle of knowledge now opens. Before you know what you know, but you also have know what you forgot. But now when I reminded you, that circle of knowing has now expanded to include that which we forgot. But now that we have been reminded, so it is now part of our, what we know. Okay, that makes sense, right? That's the first step. Okay, and so you started to notice that okay, so we expand your circle of knowledge by reminding you of that which you have forgotten. So anything that you get reminded, it expands your circle of knowledge. It becomes what you know that you know. Okay, when you are reminded of something. And so it becomes what we know that we know. And so we have just expanded our circle of knowledge. Right? That is why a lot of you come into this environment and you just feel like everything that people, the teachers say, you just kind of know it right away because your circle of knowledge has been expanded. And so in the journey there are things about human life and experience. There are things that you don't know, but you know that you don't know. You may not have been able to put word to it. Okay? And so what do? We begin with what you know and we clarify it. And so we basically touch upon the circle that you don't know. We begin with what you know and we tell you something that you don't know. And now this new knowledge become a part of your new expanded circle of knowledge. Okay? And so your circle of knowledge has now expanded. It expanded because that which you know that you don't know, and other people have brought it to your knowledge, and so now your knowledge has expanded. And some of you, in the process of talking, even things that we say and it touch upon the circle of you don't know. At first, that you don't know, so you may be mentally paralyzed. That's okay. But after a while, we keep talking about it, we clarify it, then it becomes what you know. So now your circle of knowledge of what you know now encompass what you previously don't know that you don't know, but now that you have been told and you now know it, so your circle of knowledge has expanded. Okay, so we're going to draw this back to represent that the circle of knowledge has now expanded. And so we walk you through the different knowledges, and so you can get the sense that as you we just repeat this process, repeat this cycle again and again. Okay, we just repeat this circle. repeat. Okay, we just repeat through the process of interacting. We just repeat. Okay, we just repeat. And so day by day, lesson by lesson, your circle of knowledge about human life and experience is expanded. And so one fine day, when people talk about where the root cause of life comes from, then you just kind of know everything. Or at any moment, you only need to know that we don't know. And you can come to expand your knowledge. Okay? Everything that we need to know about the human life and experience, if you know that you don't know, you can always use this circle of knowledge to expand your knowledge, especially about human life and experience. And all we need to know is what we know and what we don't know. Okay? All we need to know is what we don't know and what we do know. And we apply this principle of the circle of knowledge, it will make it simple for us to become a person of knowledgeability, a knowledgeable person, or an erudite. Okay? All we need to know is what we don't know and what we do know. In other words, become aware that we know what we know, and we become aware that there are things that we don't know, and you apply this circle of knowledge, and then it will be simple for us to become knowledgeable or to be erudite. Do you get the point of what I'm trying to make? Okay. When it comes to human life and experience, it's so vast. Okay, human life and experience. There are so many knowledge, so different kind of knowledge, and in this day and age, we are not as fortunate as our ancestors in the past. They have because their to- total, because of the availability of knowledge, especially in the worldly matter, is limited. And so each day, every day, when human beings interact with each other, if they don't have a lot of knowledge of the worldly matter to talk about, they talk about humanity. They talk about life experience. And so they become very knowledgeable in terms of human life and experience. But as science, advances day by day, human being using science as the basis of our knowledge, and so we no longer have time to talk about human life and experience. Human being, when we interact, we are no longer talking about human life and human experience or human development in the way that our ancestors have spoken. And even when we talk to each other, we don't have the ability to fully comprehend it. We only talk about problems of the family problem, of our children's problem, of our marriage problem. We no longer have the opportunity to sit down and talk about human life and experience in a way that will help us fully comprehend and expand our knowledge like our ancestors did. Most of the time we sit down and we just talk about worldly matter that doesn't really contribute that much value to our human life and experience. Do you guys get that? And so the way things are going when it comes to knowledge of human life and human experience and human development, in general, we know very little. And so how do we expand our knowledge about human life and experience to the degree that anytime when a person talk about human life, different areas of life, then we are going to be knowledgeable in that aspect and very fully comprehensively knowing. And so we are going to borrow this 21-day, this mentor program as well as the inner being program. First, we use what you know. We are going to establish what you know. And once we establish what you know, we talk about the things that you have forgotten. Okay, we touch upon what you've forgotten, and then that will cause it to become part of your knowing. And once it becomes your knowing, later we talk about the things that you don't know about human life. Then it becomes what you know. And then even what you don't know that what you don't know, we just repeat it. There is a cycle and repetition. The cycle and repetition. And over time, your circle of knowledge about human life and experience will expand. So finally, one fine day, you listen to somebody talk about human life and experience, and we only need to know what we know, and we know what we don't know, then it is simple for us to become knowledgeable and erudite. In other words, it's very important to know that we know. It is important to also know that we don't know. Then we can use what other people's knowing to make it part of our knowing. If we know what we don't know, then we can use other people's knowing to make it part of our knowing. And so when the teacher, for example, try to teach a student, and they don't understand something, and the teacher will blame them for not having a foundational knowledge, well, that is because they don't understand what the children's circle of knowledge is. Okay, we should not be in a hurry to blame a student for not knowing something. For example, if a teacher is trying to teach some material to the student, if the teacher use what they know, if the teacher use the knowledge of the student and then add what the teacher knows on top of what the student knows, then it's simple for the student to come to know, right? Understand. For example, we're teaching math. Let's say 15 times 5. Okay, let's say we're teaching 15 times 5 to a child. Then in order for a student to solve 15 times 5, what do they have to know first? we have to establish that they have to understand first the multiplication table. If they cannot solve 15 times 5, what does that mean? That means they do not have the knowledge about the multiplication table. Then you have to ask them, okay, do you know about the multiplication table? If you know about the multiplication table, then we can help them solve the multiplication of bigger numbers. And so when it comes to knowledge of humanity, there is a interrelatedness. In order to know something, we have to know something else first. In order to know something else first, we have to know something else even before that. Similarly, when it comes to knowledge about human life and experience, why is it that when we talk about people talk about human life and experience, we don't know? It is because we are lacking what's called the foundational knowledge. We are lacking source concept. When we don't understand something, it is because we lack the foundational knowledge or the source concept. And so we have a journey, a pathway where we agree on, where we synchronize the source concept. We will agree on what the certain concept of human life is, and so based on that agreed upon terminology, based upon that agreed upon concept, we can build upon the knowledge. And so day after day, lesson after lesson, your knowledge about human life and experience will expand. So there will be time when we will ask you to verify, do you agree with this? Okay? Do you understand this? Do you get this? Right? We will check in with you to see if you get it. And when you have verified that you get it, that you understand it, or you agree, then we can continue and talk more and with more and more, and we can expand. And so your knowledge about human life and experience, after 21 days, what we will do is we will minimize the don't know. You will become knowing that I know. And you will clearly know what you don't know, and you will clearly what you don't know. Okay? When you have a clear knowledge of what we know and what we don't know, then it will be simple for us to expand our knowledge. And the goal here is to help people fully grasp the knowledge about human life experience. Okay, we will try to explain the method in which we use in order to share the knowledge of human life, as well as to show other people how to help other people. So that from now on, we will never tell anybody based on what we know. From now on and for the rest of our life, we will never start by telling somebody something based on what we know. We will always base it on what the other person knows. And we base it on what people know. How do we know what they know? How do we know what the other person knows?
We ask them.
We ask them. Okay, exactly. We ask them with the mentality of humbleness and a genuine desire to know. Okay, so we ask. If we ask with humbleness, humble and genuine willingness to know. Okay, so when we ask another person, we ask with humbleness and a genuine willingness to know. That is the mentality that we will adopt when we ask anybody about anything. Because when we ask with the humbleness and a genuine willingness to know, humbleness and the willingness to know, then another person will generally very receptive to sharing what they know. And if they share with you what they know, then immediately we have expanded our own circle of knowledge. We have become more knowledgeable. We more erudite. Okay, and with that we can help another person expand their knowledge. So this is a point where our teacher is interacting with a participant named Lei Lương. So let me see. I'm gonna let's let me think. Is anybody here? So I see black background, phụng sự background, mentor background. Anybody here new to the knowledge? Is everybody here already repeat learner? Chị Nguyễn Thị Thanh Tuyền, is it convenient for you to interact? Chị Nguyễn, chị Ngọc Anh Hoàng, Hoàng Ngọc Anh, is it convenient for you to interact? Okay, that's fine. Chị Syria, chị Thúy Võ, how long have you been? Just curious to see. Okay, no problem. Thank you, chị Ngọc Anh Hoàng. You're at work. That's fine. Syria Thúy Võ, how long have you been, studying this philosophy?
How long?
When did you?
Thầy hỏi tiếng Việt đi thầy.
No, this is an English speaking class. If you cannot speak English, that's fine. Okay, okay, let's do this. That's fine.
Okay.
For the sake of the recording and for the sake of any people who are learning, viewing the recording later, let's let's see if we can practice with you guys. Okay, instead of translating the interaction, I can translate the interaction between the master and then his student later. But here we can practice this circle of knowledge. Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so you can. Let me ask you this. When it comes to health, okay, so as we are interacting, though for those of you who are listening to recording later, pay attention to the circle of knowledge. Pay attention to the way that I establish the other person's knowing. Pay attention to the way I expand their circle of knowledge by introducing new knowledge or reminding them of something they have already forgotten. And as I interact with the other person, I'm going to borrow Syria Thúy Võ. See if you can see her circle of knowledge expand. Okay? So, let's talk about the topic of health. Okay, our Zoom group is called House of Health and Happiness. Okay, so health. Let me ask chị Thúy Võ.
Yeah.
What is when you think about health? What do you know about health? What is health according to you?
Yeah.
What is health according to you?
Yeah, as I know the definition, the WHO definition, the health is the relation of the physical,
Mm-hmm.
the mentation, the society.
Okay.
Yeah. So include three.
Yeah,
The
okay, so
health
there are
is
three components of health. So now what I'm doing is I'm establishing what Surya Triva knows about health. And okay? And this is wonderful because those of you who are viewing this recording later, you can begin asking yourself, what do I
dạ.
know about health? You can even write down, okay, go ahead and write down what your own definition of health. And what Syria has just said is she has given you a definition of health that is based on the World Health Organization. And there are three components to health according to the World Health Organization. There is a component of physical, okay? There's a component of mental,
Mental.
and there's a component of social. In fact, the quote from the Constitution of the World Health Organization says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Okay? Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Anything else, Syria? Anything else that the World Health Organization say about health? Do you remember? So it says health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Okay, well-being. Okay, I just write this in parentheses, well-being. Does the World Health Organization say anything else, or what else do you know about health? What else do you know about health? There's another statement but after the statement on physical, mental, and social. It says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Okay? How many of you actually know that? How many of you actually know that next statement? Not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Because according to most people's understanding of health, and we talk about health, they will say to be healthy is not to be sick. To be healthy is not to have a cold. I have a bit of a cold, right? You can hear from the sound of my voice. To be healthy is not be injured. But the World Health Organization says that health is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. In other words, a healthy person is not sick. That's easy to understand, right? A healthy person is not sick. But a person who is not sick is not necessarily healthy. A person who is not sick is not necessarily healthy. Okay? So what I've done here, I have begin by establishing your knowing. Okay? For Syria, she knows that health has to do with physical, mental, and social. And for other people, they may think that health means not being sick. But the World Health Organization said that not only it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, but it is also not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So there is something else. There is something else beyond the absence of disease or infirmity. Okay, so any of you here got the sense that, oh, now I have more knowledge about health that I didn't have before. Okay, before I thought that health mean not being sick, but now they're saying there's something else, not merely not being sick. There is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And so let me ask you, chị Syria, physical health. What does it mean to be physically healthy?
Yeah,
What does it
physical
mean to be?
health.
Yeah, what is physical health?
Yeah, physical health mean we have five
Okay,
five things.
there are five
Yeah,
things.
that is the uh, sức khỏe, health.
Strength. Okay, you have
À,
strength.
yeah, sức
Mm-hmm.
mạnh.
You have strength.
Yeah, sức mạnh, sức bền,
You have stamina.
thể dẻo dai, thăng bằng và tốc độ.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You have stamina. You have
Yeah,
flexibility. We have balance.
beat,
Balance. Okay, balance
balance and
and
speed.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when it comes to physical health. Okay, for those of you who are viewing this recording later, when we think about physical health, what do you know about physical health? Okay, there has to be some physical attribute that contribute to physical health. You say I'm physically healthy, but if you walk up the stair, one flight of stair, and you're out of breath already, you're tired already, then maybe you don't have enough strength to carry your own body weight. Okay, or if you say you have physical health, but you can't
Yes.
even run 2 miles, then you lack stamina. Then we say that that's not physical health yet. If you say you have physical health, but you can't even touch maybe your hand behind your, or bend down and touch your toe, okay? Can you bend down and stand up, bend down and touch your toe? Some people can't even
Yeah.
see their toe, much less touch the toes. Okay? How about balance? Okay? And speed. Right? So we have taken what you know about physical health and we have expanded. For some of you in the Zoom, maybe you've learned it before, but you have forgotten it. But now I've reminded you. And by reminding you, I have expanded your circle of knowledge. If you didn't know this, and now I'm telling you this is the first time that you know, then I have expanded your circle of knowledge. And for some of you who have never even heard of World Health Organization or the statement that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, then this really, really expanded your circle of knowledge. But it begins with asking you, what do you know about health? Okay? And so now, what about mental health? Okay? What does it mean to be mentally healthy?
Mentally healthy include an vui, bao dung, trân trọng, biết ơn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So she knows she knows the Vietnamese word. So that I've established her knowledge. Her knowledge of health is in the Vietnamese word, but now she gets to learn the English word on health. A person.
Thank you very much, Frank,
Mhm.
because you expanded my English vocabulary.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
See, in the West, many people when they think about mental health, okay, you may think of mental
Yes.
health when a lot of people mistakenly think about mental problems. They think about anxiety. They think about stress when talking about mental health. In fact,
Yes.
in the field of mental health, a doctor of mental health, a psychology, or a psychologist, or a psychiatrist have a book this thick about, there are 10,000 different diagnoses of mental health disorder. But there are very
Yes.
few definitions of what it means to be mentally healthy. Right? Doctors of mental health knows a lot about mental disorder. There are diagnoses of insomnia, schizophrenia, phobia, depression, anxiety, so many diagnosis of mental health problem, but few doctors actually have a good definition of what it means to be mentally healthy. Mental health. But the World Health Organization states that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And so in this philosophy, we make it very simple for you to learn and expand your knowledge about mental health. There are only 3 words that you need to learn. If you master the following 3 words about mental health, you will become mentally healthy. Okay? And it is this. A person who is mentally healthy is a person who has a state of inner peace.
peace.
There you go. If you have inner peace, that is a state of mental health. Yeah. If you have inner peace, then it is a state of mental health. If you interact with other people and you feel tolerant toward that person, tolerance. If you have tolerance with another person, then you have a positive mental attitude with another person. You are mentally healthy. If you have tolerance with another person, you have a positive mental attitude, therefore you have mental health. Okay, good mental health, not mental health problem, mental health. And if a person can maintain a state of honoring gratitude with respect to all people and all things, then we also say that person is mentally healthy. A state of being that is honoring gratitude, we honor the present moment and we are grateful for everything and everyone. I am grateful for your presence in this Zoom, and I'm honored by your participation. So a person who can maintain a state of being that it includes honoring gratitude, that person is mentally healthy. It is a state of well-being in the mentality. Okay? And then, what about social health? What are some words associated with a person being socially healthy? Right, many of you, have you even ever thought about social health when you come to thinking about health? If a person says I'm healthy, but they have no friends, can we say that person is healthy? Or if we say a person say I'm, they may be strong, they may be an athlete, but they are very resentful to their, co-worker or the family members, and nobody want to be close to them. If they have no positive social relationship, can we really say that they are healthy? If people, if a person is going through some, let's say, a divorce, right? They can be the strongest athlete, but if they're going through, let's say, a divorce, that too will affect their overall health because their social relationship is in trouble. So what are some words, Syria, you can help me. What are some words, whether in Vietnamese or English, can you think about when it comes to social health?
Yeah, social health. Social health is we have good quality relationship.
You have people. You have social relationship that involve fondness, right? Fondness. You like the person that you are in a social relationship with. That is a healthy social relationship. Not a social relationship where you don't like the person. That's the bad relationship. That's not a healthy social relationship. A social relationship that includes fondness, right? You like that person. You like your children. That is a healthy relationship with your children. You like your spouse. You like your coworker, your boss, your employee. Then you have a fondness when it comes to social relationship. We call that healthy social relationship. Okay? What about if we have a social relationship where we have trusting. Okay, when we trust another person, do you feel that social relationship is positive and healthy? Right? Can you define a social healthy person as a person who trusts other people and other people trust them? Yeah. To be socially healthy, you want to be in relationship that involve trust. Okay? Right? Many of you have not thought about this. I know many of you have not thought about this. Okay, how about a relationship that you can say, ooh, I have a close knit, tight, okay, close knit. I don't know how to spell it. I don't know if that's the correct spelling. Okay, and then there's relationship that you can say intimacy. Oh, okay. Would a relationship where there are intimacy be considered a healthy social relationship? Yeah. Okay. Parent and children can be so intimate. Husband and wife can be intimate. It is a relationship where you're so close. You have complete trust about with another person. You feel completely comfortable in that relationship, and that strength of relationship, it contributes to the mental and the physical aspect as well. Okay. And so you notice that we have begun with what you know about health. Okay, Cecilia is fortunate because she has studied this knowledge for a number of years, and so she begin with a circle of knowledge about health that is pretty comprehensive. Okay, her knowing, I know that I know, she knows that she knows that the World Health Organization has a definition of health that involves physical, mental, and social. And she knows the Vietnamese words, but now I have expanded her circle of knowledge to include what she didn't know before, which is the English word. So
Yes.
with that is going to expand her social relationships. She can now, interact more with English-speaking people, and so thereby her social health is going to improve.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
never again. So I didn't just jump out and say, here is a definition of health. I begin with what you know. And since Syria is the only one that interact with me, I could only use her as an example. But if there was somebody else in the Zoom who had interacted, we would have used his or her circle of knowledge as well. Okay, but even as there are people who are not interacting, I said a certain statement like, oh, up to now we didn't know that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Some of us may have thought that health is about not being sick. Right? I say that, I generalize that because some of you may have that knowledge. You just think that being healthy is mean not being sick. But not being sick is not enough to be healthy. You have to be a completely healthy person in all dimensions of physical, mental, and social well-being in order to be considered a healthy person. Okay? And so that is the circle of knowledge. I want to say hello to Stephen Ngo. Is it convenient for Stephen Ngo to interact with us? Hello, thank you for joining our Zoom. Okay.
Stephen.
Okay, that's fine. So this is all I have for today's material. This is today is on the topic is on the principle of the circle of knowledge. And what's important is that when we want to help anybody come to know anything, we need to base it on their belief. Okay? In order to help them know. And in order for a person to sort of believe us, we're gonna have to work on our character and our virtue. That is something that you have to learn later on, especially in the mentor program. For those of you who are in the mentor program, if any of you here talk to a person and you have been trying to persuade them something, even inviting them to the Zoom and study the philosophy on inner being and holistic health, and they don't want to come in, then maybe it is because we are not using the other person's circle of knowledge. We're not basing it on the belief or their knowing or their inquiry or the desire. Some people don't have the desire to know, and so there's nothing we can do to help them understand. Does anybody here still have problems with convincing anybody or persuading anybody to learn or to know something? Do you guys want to share? Let's do a little bit of lesson, impression, and realization. Or Gemma, would you like to share?
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Frank. You just asked that there is some problem with convincing someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I have an intention to share this knowledge and help my husband to join in the community. So I haven't done. I still not persuade him yet.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes.
So yeah, tell more about that. So when have you tried? Have you invited? What have you done so far?
What I have done, I
Mm-hmm.
shared the link with him. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't listen.
He didn't listen.
I yeah, and when in my journey to share the knowledge, I invited him, but he refused.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's what I've done, and I think that maybe my transformation hasn't showed out enough to be more persuasive. So
Mm.
I just leave it there. I
Well,
haven't done
well.
any
Do you do
more.
you want do you want your husband to study the philosophy?
Yeah,
Then
sure.
then where do you think, what? So considering your husband's circle of knowledge. Okay, what do you
Yes.
think? And considering these four words, his belief, his knowing, his inquiry, and his desire, what do you think his belief is? What is it be?
He believed that he could learn all the things on the life through experiences,
Oh,
not
okay,
that you're in the class.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. He believed that everything can be learned through experiences and not having to
Yeah.
go to into a classroom, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, does he have any inquiry? You think about it, does he have any question or inquiry? Is there anything that?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Questions. He just think that the job is just working and earning money. No need
Mm.
to study anymore.
Oh, okay.
Learning is enough.
So what about his desire? What do you think some of his desires are?
He desire really happy family with steady state of finance, like don't dream very big, just enough
Mm-hmm.
and happy.
Mm. Okay.
Don't need to go out and learn earn too much money,
Mm.
just need to feel enough. Yeah, and pay attention on the family more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well then, then you're gonna have to, I think, practice the circle of knowledge a little bit more. Um, Starting with, you know, asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a desire for your husband to journey with you, and you may have to um, start asking and maybe get to know him a little bit more. Get to understand him, so that and there's a belief, there's a trust, right? Um, you have to
Right.
make. You kind of have to show that there's benefit, and if that benefit is something that he's interested in, because not everybody have the desire. That's an important one, right? They have to have desire, they have to have the inquiry, they have to have the knowledge in order to understand, and they have to believe that it is something that's gonna be beneficial to them. But he doesn't believe. If he doesn't believe, then and maybe he doesn't need to know anything, and that's fine.
Yes. So where should I start? Asking him to understand him more, right?
You can start. I think it's you just start by asking and listening. Okay. Um, yeah. A lot of time we have a desire for our family members to study, but it is I speak from what I know. It is often, oh, I think this is such a great knowledge. This is a wonderful um, philosophy, and so we just want to impose our knowing to another person. But if we take a step back and we listen a little bit more, I think we um, step back and be a little bit more humble and come to a genuine willingness to know the other person. Um, I think that will be the way to do it. To listen with humbleness and willingness to know. And
Yes, right.
when we when we really listen to another person, um, in my experience, when we listen to another person with a genuine desire to know, and we initiate later on as we talk in this philosophy, as we talk about different levels of wisdom, with especially level 3 wisdom, when we can listen with true emptiness and we are totally present with another person, then they will feel that we respect them, that they will drop their walls of the defensiveness. Right? You can, in fact, in fact, that will be a challenge for you to sort of work on this aspect too. When we on the fondness, the trusting, the closeness, the intimacy. If a spouse, for example, somebody important to us, is not willing to journey with us in something that we feel important as this knowledge, then there may be some degree of trust, some degree of closeness that we may need to work on. And usually, when we have something wonderful and we try to impress upon another person, we make the mistake of using our own circle of knowledge, our own belief, and we impose on it, and so a person will become sort of defensive. They are not receptive to it because they don't want to. They have their own sense of ego to protect. They have their own sense of circle of knowledge to protect. They don't want to be invaded by other people. But if we learn to ask with humbleness and the genuine willingness to know, then I think that it will open another person up for the willingness to know. Do we really know our spouse just yet? Have we really listened just yet? Because in real listening, there will be no barrier between the two people. When we can cause another other person to talk about themselves, like say our spouse, your husband, for example, if he is willing to talk about himself and his desire and his needs and his knowledge and all that stuff without fear of being judged and whatever, then it also um, make him feel respected, and if he feel respected, then it usually will help them lower the defense, and they will be more willing to know. I'm just fortunate that I have a strong desire to know. So when my wife introduced to me the philosophy, I just take it right away. That's just that's my good fortune. Um, but there are still members in my household that I would like to share the knowledge with, and I feel that I have not been able to introduce it to them because I have not taken the time to get to know them. And the relationship, the trust is not there. Whatever I say doesn't have carry weight. Okay, and I need to go to work on myself, go to work on my own character and my virtue, so that based on the belief, basically the other person doesn't believe me. They don't believe that there is value in what I have to say, and therefore I can't say anything. And that is because this belief part is because of the social relationship part. There's something about the fondness, there's something about the trusting. We're not trusting, right? Belief and trusting. The other person does not trust us enough in order to listen and to know what we have to say. And so we have to go to work on the belief part, go to work on the trust part. If we can go to work on the trust part, then we can help the other person believe. And we can do that by becoming healthy in all the other aspects of life. Become more physically healthy, become more mentally healthy, and then hopefully that will initiate their desire, that will tap into their demand for health and demand for physical and mental health. They see, oh, okay, this person is physically healthy, this person is mentally healthy, and maybe I want it too. And then at some point, then when their desire is enough, then you can help them transform, which is a change in behavior, including taking the class, for example. So, in this philosophy, we are the seed, we are the condition upon other people transform. And so I think if we we encounter any loved ones in the family who has not willing to co-journey with us, we can go to work on ourselves to become a person worthy of trust, so that our word would carry weight. Okay, does that make sense, Go Gemma? I'm not judging I'm not judging your relationship. I'm saying that I think if we work on the trust part, then even our spouse will want to listen.
Yes, yes, and I heard a sentence that if we want the change from others, it will start suffering.
Yeah.
So come back to change myself to be more attractive and enough things to affect them instead of force them to do what I want.
Right, right. Yeah, and that is
Yeah.
the awareness, that to change other people is the beginning of suffering. To change myself is the beginning of happiness. There is also an awareness that I have that who I am right now is not the person that the other person is going to listen to. Who
Yeah.
I am right now, my way of being, my character, my virtue, my integrity, my mentality, my wisdom, who I am at this moment is not the person that the other person listened to. And so there's really no choice but to change who I am.
Yeah.
I have to
All
change
right.
myself to be the kind of person that the other person will listen to. That's it.
Yeah.
There is really no other choice. It is a willingness to change who we are so that we can become the person that the other person will listen to.
Thank you, thầy.
Yeah, right. Alrighty. Anybody else have any comment before we say good day and good night for today? I want to thank
Sorry, what?
everybody. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah, me. Yeah. I just want to say I'm very grateful to you because it is a long time I not attend English class and today is the first day. So you remind me much, and you already expanded my English vocabulary. Yes, and yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
my desire that I desire to speak English well and can share the knowledge of the knowledge to everyone. Yeah, I can share in English, not in Vietnamese.
Okay. So I hope that
Yeah,
my sharing today was simple for you to imprint and to understand and to share it back. Okay. So
today you share is already simple, and I can hurt your almost. Today is very simple to thủ đất á,
okay, to
thủ đất.
imprint. Yeah, with the word, the English word we use is to imprint. Okay, imprint.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
to print
yeah,
something is to make a copy. To imprint is to copy into yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
imprint. And
Imprint.
we chose the word imprint is because it is a scientific. I chose that word because in the science world, um, when a baby duck, okay, you can imagine a little baby duck
Uh,
just hatch. The baby duck,
yes.
when they first hatch, in the first
Yeah.
10 minutes or so of its life, it will look at its mother. Usually it will see its mother. And it will
Yeah.
imprint the picture of its mother, and it believes that
Yes.
it is its mother, and so it will follow that duck for the rest of its life. And so what scientists
Yes.
does is they do an experiment. Instead of having the mother duck being present when the baby duck hatch, they will put another animal, maybe just a picture, or even themselves as a scientist. And so when the baby duck first,
Yeah.
hatch, it will imprint the picture of whoever that is, and it will think that it is its mother. It imprints it for
Uh,
the rest of its life. It remembers that image
imprint.
for the imprint, and so it will follow that person, or even that it could be a statue or whatever, for the rest of its life. And so the idea of imprinting is you take into yourself an image, and it become a part of your life for the rest of your life. And so
Wow.
that's why we
I
chose the word
like.
imprint to represent the Vietnamese word thủ đắc. Okay, and you do that like
Yeah.
a baby duck. We do that without thinking. We do that without judging. We do that without analysis and differentiation, because that part of the mind will jump in and take over our ability to absorb knowledge. Um, and so in this methodology, that's why many people are able to learn so quickly and become very knowledgeable and wise and erudite and sagacious in the knowledge, because of the methodology of imprinting. We just take it in, and it becomes part of who we are. As our circle of knowledge expand, we literally become a different person. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Right.
is a
Yeah.
transformation.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
everybody, for spending your time with us. I will upload the video, and you will see a link when you join the Telegram group. Okay? You take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Yeah. See you next Thursday.
Okay.